I feel like I'm going full white girl right now, and I'm not. I'm ashamed to admit that I feel that way. But I've got the sweatshirt on. I've got the Jag sweatshirt. It's a little big on me, but honestly, it feels perfectly fine. And then I've got this concoction in this cup. Your boy is drinking cold brew at 6:30 in the evening for the first time ever. Yeah, we have succumbed. Don't take that out of context. That word I just said is 2 syllables. We have succumbed to an IG recipe, and a recipe I found on Instagram. It was just this cold brew thing that has a little protein coffee top, basically, like sometimes you get the heavy cream top on a coffee, and that's supposed to be the sweet part of it, and usually it's a ton of sugar or stuff like that. I don't know. We're trying to watch the cows a little bit here and there, and I just I found this recipe that combined like a Core Power, part of a Core Power protein shake with dates. For starters, never had a date before in my life. Never had the food date in my life. I've been on a couple dates, okay? Contrary to popular belief, I have been on a few dates here and there, of course. Let's get that out of the way. Let's not start that narrative, okay? We're already down in the dumps as it is. But never had the food dates in my life, let alone pitted one myself, which is actually really simple. You just kind of tear it apart across, so you basically have it long ways, tear it apart, and then there's just, you pull out, throw it away. It's actually very simple. I thought I messed up, but no, it's pretty simple. But you blend, put a little bit of the Core Power shake and the dates in the blender, let the blender just go sicko mode on that, and then, that's it, that's good to go. And then you just pour that on top of, your cold brew. And I mixed it in because I'm a little weenie. I don't really care about the presentation of it, to be honest. I took a picture at least, but nevertheless, here we are. I used about a quarter of the shake and maybe a third. No, about a quarter of it. Maybe a third. And realized that makes basically 2. So I could use a lot less. And I could probably get away with 1 date, not 2, if I'm going to, reduce the thingamabobbers, But it's actually really good. I don't know when I'm going to go to sleep tonight now, unfortunately, because I'm now obligated to make a second one, which I will be taking a break at some point to go refill, because I'm not going to let that go to waste. Obviously, this costs money, and I spent it, and I don't, whatever. But we're back. We took that 2-week hiatus. We went last night. I promise you I'd be back tonight, and we're back tonight, okay? I'm not going to try to keep this super dragged out. I had a comment from a unnamed source, Mike from work, that he said the first 15-20 minutes of the episodes are really good, and he thinks they're really funny because it's just me shooting the shit, basically, which is all it's supposed to be. And then I don't think he's a fan of when we actually dive into the games. I think this podcast, not a podcast, I think this talk show excels when we kind of just go whatever we want, we don't dive too far into it. We just have fun with it, okay? I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I think it's the cold brew talking. I also think it's the voices in here talking. The walls are talking a lot of shit right now, and I'm listening. But we're here. I think we're going to do an NFL primer for this weekend, a college football primer for this weekend. NFL, we can keep brief. Obviously, NFL is a lot less games. Same with college. I mean, there's only a select few headliner games. But I did make a parlay. I did it today at work on my lunch break. We're back with the $2 parlay. Had to make up for lost times. We got the door open because it feels really nice out. It's a crisp 62 degrees here in Old Duval in Jacksonville, Florida. It is. It's actually exactly 6:30 p.m. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know if you care about that. I don't really. But yeah, we'll do that. I might touch on college basketball because I don't know if it starts this weekend or if it starts on Monday. I know I said last night Florida plays Monday, but I'm not 100% sure if that's when the actual season starts. I have no idea. It's fine. But nevertheless, I had this talk today with my buddies at work. I stopped this morning because I left early today, super long drive, but I stopped and got a coffee from Racetrack, the gas station that is, not Daytona Speedway. No, not the Adventure Landing, go-kart racetrack. No, but it was pretty cool. I got a hazelnut roast, and they grind when you do your settings. It literally grinds the beans right there, and just like my blender in there, and it was pretty cool. Unfortunately, the coffee itself wasn't great, so Wawa is above them. I love Wawa. Huge Wawa fan here. Me and the guys at work love Wawa. We go there all the time for lunch and just for drinks and everything. And the Wawa coffee, I cannot lie. The Wawa coffee is top tier. Very top tier. Super hot, fresh, whatever you want. It is so good. The racetrack, although the beans brought it up, it gave us some points for the bean grinder. I thought it was cool just for the experience, honestly. The coffee wasn't great. The coffee left a lot to be desired. And that's okay. It's it is what it is. It's just, you're just second place to Wawa now. So that's, for me, it sparks the debate of best gas station coffees. I think we're going to need to start to do the gas station coffee tour. Because right now it's Wawa, then racetrack, and I haven't tried anywhere else yet. So we're just 2 gas stations in. We'll have to try 7-Eleven at some point. We'll have to try Speedway. We'll have to try everything. Maybe Buc-ee's, if we ever go to Buc-ee's for whatever reason in the near future. We'll have to, I'm going on a road trip this weekend up to Tennessee, so maybe we stop by Buc-ee's on the way there. I don't know, going north, I know there's 1 or 2 in Georgia, I believe. I don't know how far away we'll have to go. I'll have to see if I can pitch it to whoever's driving, See if I can sway them a little bit. Probably not, though. Take a sip of the Cold Brew. That is really good. Wow. So we got that. And then also, while we're on the gas station tour, I also wanted to see one of the best gas station pills you can buy. I'm not going to tour those, okay? We're not going to go to gas stations and test those. Maybe. I don't know. Times are tough. No, just kidding. Moving on. Get out of here. Okay? Last night I was at Walmart. We're just shooting all over the place right now. I bought a plug-in. It's balsam and spruce. Balsam. B-A-L-S-A-M and spruce. The plugins, the Glade plugins you put in the wall, obviously. Love it, dude. My room, plugged it in, walked out. Not even 2 minutes later, started smelling like Christmas in there, dude. We are getting festive. I've got a mistletoe under the door. No one's actually going to come to my room, but it's there just in case someone does. Never know. Probably not, though. But it does. I love it, dude. It was, I think a 2-pack was like $5. They last forever because it's just in my little room. I have the dial turned like all the way down, basically. But, oh my god, my room smells just like Christmas. It's awesome. I'm getting festive in this mofo. The weather's actually pretty nice for once. I'm going to Tennessee this weekend. The weather there is supposed to be in the low to mid 50s, I believe. The highs are in the low 40s, and I am just pumped. Oh, unfortunately, I'm only there for 2 nights, so that stinks, but I don't care. I'm still going to enjoy it, obviously. But it really is. It took me, I got back Sunday, and I was super sleep deprived. I slept for an hour in between, basically Saturday night, I slept for an hour. Thursday night, I slept for about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. Friday, I got a good 6 or 7 hours. And then Saturday, I got 1 hour. Sunday, I got 5 hours. We're back to the sleep deprived. And honestly, that's where I get my energy from, dude. I don't know what it is. When I sleep less, I think I operate better. I'm not even joking. I could genuinely, not even could, I do. I operate really well on 5 to 6 hours of sleep, and that's perfectly fine with me. We'll see. Maybe as life goes on, we'll see what happens. As, maybe work gets more stressful, or I find a significant other, or family, just stuff like that. We'll see. Maybe I do crave sleep more. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That Sunday, when I was going on 1 hour sleep, felt perfectly fine. Came home and did a shit ton. I'm not even joking. We're going to need a refill sooner rather than later. That's fine. Let's go ahead and bang out NFL. But let me make sure we didn't have anything else in our notes before. I don't know how this is going to pick up with all the audio. Now, I have the door open, so I don't know how it's going to pick up with the cars passing by, because we do live, we back up right to the road. So I have no idea how this is going to turn out. And if it turns out terribly, I'm not re-recording it. I'm sorry, not really. I mean, a little bit, but not really. I'll be upset, but whatever. But I will say, before I get into the NFL, I did want to mention this last night. I'm just going to throw it out there. Just throwing it out there. It's a little, just throwing the bait out. We'll see if anything bites. I think the world is a better place when Shed Talk was on a regular upload schedule. And I'm not faulting anyone but myself for that. You know, my personal life, my plans got in the way of it the last 2 weeks. But, dude, all I'm saying is just utter chaos has happened since, you know, we went off the rails in our upload schedule. Billy Napier got fired. Brian Kelly got fired. I think someone else got fired. A lot of firings in the college football world. The Jags started struggling. That's about all I can think of. Not really. Just off the rip, though, I'm just saying, the people need Shed Talk. They do. I need Shed Talk. The people need it. I think it just provides a little bit of a sense of calmness and balance. Even though the show is anything but calm and balanced, it's very erratic and erotic and just high energy, high octane, you know. Speaking of high octane, I was walking out here to the shed, and I didn't notice it last night, but this weekend my cousins threw a Halloween party. They had some family over, some friends over, and we're going to throw a Christmas party too, and I'm going to be here for that mofo because I love Christmas. Christmas is my all-time favorite holiday. And I saw one of those Tropicana bottles, the big bottles, that like the orange juice comes in or whatever juice you want to get. But it was that Tropicana brand because you could tell with the green lid on it. And when I was walking out the door, it kind of looked like it was piss. Not super dehydrated piss, where we're talking like just bright yellow, neon yellow piss, where it's like, dude, have you ever drank water in your life? But it was a mix between not fully, I'm not saying it was fully dehydrated, but I'm also not saying that it was hydrated enough. How about that? It had a little bit of color to it, and I was like, who the hell got too drunk to either A, just piss behind the shed, you could have pissed behind the shed, and you didn't, or B, not even be able to make it inside, but you pissed in a Tropicana bottle of orange juice, an old OJ bottle of Tropicana lemon orange juice. And you had to piss in the bottle. And I got closer, and then I realized there was a piece of painter's tape taped to the bottle, and written on it was kerosene. So, off limits for me to drink, that's for sure. Can't drink that. But if you guys don't know, that helps get the fire going a little bit more if you have a fire going. But yeah, got to be careful about that. I don't know why that's just sitting outside on the little porch all week. That's a little sketchy, to be honest with you. Just my 2 cents, man. What do I know? Nothing. But let's get into this, man. Let's get into this. I had another note in here. I've been making this over 2 weeks, so some of these are a little bit old. I had another note that said Chargers 2 weeks ago when they played the Colts, they wore these just piss, I guess on the topic of piss, they wore these alternate uniforms, and they were just piss yellow. I mean, bright yellow jerseys, bright yellow pants. I don't think the helmets were yellow. I don't think so. I'm actually not sure on that, but they were terrible. I don't know who was in charge of coming up with this idea, the alternate uniform, idea, and I don't know what was the inspiration about that. Did they just see a lemon on the side of the road and was like, hell yeah, I got it, dude. Boss, I got it. Lemons. No, God, those were terrible, dude. A, for starters, you got your asses handed to you by the Colts. At home, by the way, you got your asses handed to you by the Colts. And B, you looked horrible while doing so. It's one thing to come out and just look clean and then just lose a game. It's another thing to come out and look like utter just piss, literally and figuratively, and then get the brakes beaten off of you. Just my 2 cents, man. What do I know? I'm just a talker, I'm just a talk show guy. But now, finally, on to the NFL. I don't even know. How long have we been going for? 13 minutes already. Dude, we just don't know how to do a quick episode anymore. What was that at the bottom? But we're going to do NFL real quick. Pause. Get that, and then college football, maybe college basketball. I'm really hoping I can do this in under 45 minutes. That we only have 30 minutes left, but I'm going to be able to bang out NFL quick, I think, because not a lot of great matchups. Tonight, Baltimore at Miami, because it's Thursday Night Football. Lamar's back, and the Ravens, actually, earlier they were an 8-point favorite. Now they're a 7.5-point favorite, so something to monitor there. I still think that's kind of a hefty spread, because the Dolphins, granted not playing as great a competition the last 2 weeks, have looked better. They've actually looked somewhat competent the last 2 weeks and have taken care of business. And the Ravens have just not looked great. Still, they just haven't looked great. Their defense isn't fixed at all. So, they're putting a lot of stake into Lamar coming back, and I think just sparking the offense. And I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I have Baltimore winning this game. I don't really want to talk about this anymore. Both these teams kind of stink this year. Sunday, the first matchup, Chicago at Cincinnati, it just doesn't do anything for me, man. It really doesn't. Chicago on the road in Cincy against Joe Flacco, and the Bears are struggling. They're kind of scuffling a little bit. I don't want anything to do with this game, but give me Chicago. Joe Flacco had that blow-up game against the Steelers, and I kind of think that was it. I mean, yeah, that's about all it was, to be honest with you. They lost to the Jets on Sunday and gave the Jets their first win of the season. So if that tells you anything, give me the Bears. Give me the Bears. Minnesota at Detroit, give me Detroit. Minnesota, I think J.J. McCarthy's coming back in perfect time because Carson Wentz is now out for the season. Hey, it's all the power to you, man. All the respect to Carson. He got hurt, I think, 2 weeks ago and just tried toughing it out and clearly couldn't anymore because now he's out for the season. But he held on just long enough for JJ to come back and take over the starting role again. But give me Detroit, Carolina at Green Bay. Give me Green Bay. Carolina's, whatever. Chargers at Titans. Gross. Give me the Chargers. Atlanta at New England. Give me New England. I mean, the Patriots are if the Colts weren't 7-1 or 8-0, the Patriots, I think, might be the story of the NFL. I mean, they're 6-2. They've beaten the Bills already on Sunday Night Football, like in prime time. And they've been a very pleasant surprise, man. Drake May's taking steps. The defense is playing well. They're a fun story, man. Give me the Patriots. Yeah. San Fran at the Giants. RIP to Cam Scadable's ankle in his rookie season after just providing a spark to the New York Giants fan base, team, everything, the city, whatever you want to say. Unfortunately, San Fran's only a 2.5-point favorite on the road here. I think Dart will keep it close. I think San Fran bounces back from that just really uninspiring offensive performance and defensive performance in Houston last week. Houston beat them 26-15, and Houston just controlled the game. They really did, offensively and defensively. But yeah, give me San Fran making a comeback here or bouncing back here. Indy at Pittsburgh. That is my game of the week. That's my Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I can't really say that when KC and Buffalo is on the schedule, but it's a close second for me. So we're going to go KC, Buffalo, Indy, Pittsburgh. 30 feet of shit, everything else. But I'm really excited for this game. I mean, this is their first true road test, although I guess they played in LA against the Rams and they lost that game, but this is their second true road test. How about that? Against a really quality team. Pittsburgh kind of scuffling a little bit. I think they're coming off a bye week, though, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm an idiot. No, I keep thinking about this Bengals-Steelers game from 2 weeks ago because I was in here watching it, and I think that's when I was recording the last Thursday episode. But yeah, Pittsburgh is kind of scuffling. They lost to the Bengals, then they had long week, and then they lost to the Packers on Sunday Night Football. That's why I don't remember that because I didn't watch the game. But they lost to the Packers on Sunday Night Football. It was a decent game. The Packers just look good, and the Steelers' defense is surprisingly very, very much struggling right now. It has not been the dominant force that people expect it to be, and that it usually is year in and year out. Even after trading for Ramsey, everyone kind of thought like, okay, this is just adding on to an already stacked defense. A lot of great personnel at every level now. TJ Watt on the line, Cam Hayward at the linebacker level. I can't really think of their names, but they have good linebackers. And then now you've got Jalen Ramsey in the secondary and Patrick. No, what's his name? What's the other cornerback's name they have? Oh, what's his name? No, it's going to kill me. Oh, man. Steelers cornerback room. What's his name? I can't think of his name, and it's not even popping up for me right now. But he's a shutdown corner. He's been there, I think this is his third year, maybe? Second or third year? Joey Porter Jr. Yep, Joey Porter Jr. There we go. None of you guys care at this point. But, yeah, I mean, they have the talent there. They just got to start producing. I think... I'm sorry to Jacob Cooper if you're watching this. I think the Steelers get a much-needed win here at home. They bounce back. I don't think they lose 3 in a row. I think the Colts finally, maybe not throw a stinker up. I just think they finally just lose another game. I mean, yeah, it's the NFL, man. It's anyone's week. It's anyone's game every week. So who knows? But Give me the Steelers in this game with the upset. I don't know. Are they favored? No, Indy is favored. Yeah, so give me the Steelers with the upset. Denver, Houston. Houston is favored in this game. I think Vegas really likes their last performance against the San Fran 49ers. I don't. Give me Denver on the road. Jags at Raiders. The Jags have to win this game. I mean, you gotta win this game, dude. Yeah, you have to find a way. I'm not really gonna go into detail about that because the Raiders stink, but you have to find a way to win that game. Saints at Rams. Saints are making a quarterback change. They're starting Tyler Shough, the rookie, the 25-year-old rookie, mind you. But the Rams are like a 2-touchdown favorite. Give me the Rams. I think they win. I don't know if they cover. That's a lot of points. But, maybe Shough can, spark up the offense a little bit. I have no idea. Now, the actual game of the week, Kansas City at Buffalo. I'm not desensitized to it because it's not because it's happened so many times. I just think Kansas City is playing really well right now. Get this box out of the camera. Andy, and the mic. What am I doing? I can't. Actually, who cares? But I just think Kansas City is playing really well offensively right now, and the Bills just aren't really clicking. Now, hey, look, it's a big game they could show up for. Maybe they're just kind of cruising their way through the schedule, kind of sleepwalking a little bit, but who knows? Maybe this game wakes them back up. I have no idea. I think right now Kansas City's just clicking right now, and Buffalo just quite isn't on both sides of the ball to make a dominant force. And so give me Kansas City with the upset on the road. Actually, they're favored, so give me Kansas City on the road. Seattle at Washington. Washington has been super disappointing this year. Give me Seattle. Terry's out. Daniels, I don't know if he's playing. I think he might. I don't know, actually, but Scary Terry's already out. Dave Daniels might be out. Give me Seattle. And then Monday night, Arizona at Dallas. That could actually be a sneaky, decent game, but I don't really care about it. That one has no appeal to me. I might have it on because it's Monday night, but give me the Cowboys. I think they find a way to win, but the Cardinals could just shock some people, Honestly, who knows? Not me. I clearly don't. But that's it for the NFL. I might have put a few of those games into my parlay. We'll go over it at the end, maybe after we do college football. But we're gonna go to refill, and then we'll just buzz saw through college, both colleges. Yep. Let's go back to it. All right. So, do I want to do college basketball? I don't really think you guys care about college basketball, and there's not much to preview because I don't know much outside of Florida, so yeah, I think that's kind of settled, actually. The season does start Monday, by the way. So it does start Monday, so that's going to be awesome. I'm going to have that to watch. So I drive home Monday from the wedding. Took off work, that'll be nice, and then I get home, do whatever I need to do, unpack, do some laundry, do whatever, honestly, because I can do whatever the heck I want, but that'd be cool. 7 o'clock p.m. I got Florida and Arizona in Las Vegas, Nevada, however you want to call it. I don't really care. But college football this week. Let me filter this for top 25 real quick. I kind of want to do... Okay, can't really do that. I don't know why. Oh, you have to click on this to get to top 25. Stupid. Got our refill. But unfortunately, this weekend was, in the preseason, going to be a banger of a weekend. So let me just go over the headliner matchups that were supposed to be the headliner matchups. How about that? Penn State and Ohio State. Vandy, Texas now becomes a headliner matchup. Wasn't really in the preseason. It was a good matchup, but not a headliner. Miami, SMU, I think would have had a little bit more steam because SMU obviously made the playoff last year. And Miami, I believe, was a preseason top 10 team. But now SMU's 5-3. They're just this season. A little bit of a step back since last season. Florida, Georgia is this weekend. That was supposed to be a headliner matchup because they were both ranked coming into the season and all that. Both teams have a ton of talent. Now, unfortunately, one team doesn't have a coach. So, I have no clue what to expect in this game, by the way. I have zero clue what to expect. But, who cares, dude? I'm going to try to watch it. I'm going to be in Tennessee then at that point. And I don't know what we're going to have going on at that time in the afternoon. So, I'm going to try to watch it, or at least follow it, but who knows. Let's see, who else? Texas Tech and Kansas State, I think, was actually supposed to be a pretty good matchup. Kansas State was decent last year. Tech got a lot of hype coming into the season because of all their transfers and shit. And they backed it up. I think they've one loss so far. Kansas State has just kind of pooped the bed so far. They're 4-4. Not great. South Carolina, Ole Miss, again, another what was supposed to be a headliner game. Too bad South Carolina's just pissed all over themselves this season. No other way to put it. God, this stuff is really good. There might be crack in this thing. I'm just saying that shit from the border, that my drug package from last year might have crossed it. There might be in that coffee. But South Carolina, I think this was a top 15 matchup preseason. I believe South Carolina was maybe 13th, 12th or 13th to start the season. And Ole Miss was probably top 10, maybe in the teens as well. I can't remember, but this was supposed to be a headliner matchup. South Carolina just stinks this year. Plain and simple, they're 1-5 in the SEC. It's been a tough watch for them, unfortunately. Oklahoma, Tennessee. That one's kind of held true. Both teams, 2 losses. I think they're both 5-2. No, they're both 6-2. Sorry, both 2 losses in the SEC, unfortunately. So, honestly, for these teams, it kind of is a win or go home, in my opinion. I think whoever loses this game is out of the playoff conversation. It's just kind of the way it is. I don't really, because the problem is with both of those teams, if you lose this game, you probably end the season with 0 to 1 significant win. Kind of like big time win, honestly, because Tennessee has a chance. If they lose this game, they still play Vanderbilt at the end. They play Vanderbilt in the last game of the season, so that could be a potential top 15, top 10 win. And Oklahoma still plays Bama. I think they play Bama next week, maybe, or maybe the week after. I'm not 100% sure. And so it's like if you kind of triple over yourself again here, you have one more big chance because Alabama's top 5. It's just the likelihood of that happening is very slim. But even then, you could finish the season 9-3 and your resume is just 1 win essentially. So it's tough. You're playing a very big risky game if you lose that. But who knows? Who knows? I think Tennessee wins that game, though. Give me Tennessee. I think they find a way to win. It's at home. It's in Neyland. That place can be checkerboarded out, rocket top. It's all of it. Everything. USC, Nebraska. I think this one probably... I don't think... Actually, no. USC was not ranked coming into the season. I thought they were going to be pretty good this year. I still am not sold on them. I'm just not. I'm still not sold on them because their big-time wins just aren't there. Again, they just don't have a signature win. But, hey, man, who knows? I don't know. They're both ranked. Actually, Nebraska's not ranked, but they're both 2 losses. USC's 5-2, 3-1 in the Big Ten. Nebraska's 6-2, 3-2 in the Big Ten. I don't know. USC's a touchdown favorite on the road, 6.5 points. I just don't know if... On paper, USC should win this game. Their offense has been better than Nebraska's. Nebraska's offense has sputtered all season, hasn't been consistent. And I think USC's defense overall is better than Nebraska's. The problem is, especially, for the love of Christ, with Lincoln Riley-led teams, the games are not played on paper. He just always finds a way to lose games he shouldn't. If only it could be the opposite. Maybe you could start winning some games you shouldn't win. How about that? Maybe Lincoln? How about that? Yeah, let's go Lincoln Logs. Why don't we start winning some damn games that you should or shouldn't? But whatever. I think USC wins this game at home. Matt Rule, congrats to Matt Rule at Nebraska. Just got a 2-year extension. Good for you, man. I think they kind of wanted to nip that in the bud in terms of all these coaching searches going on. His name was kind of popping up in a lot of these college football analysts like hot boards, coaching hot boards. And I think they just want to nip in the bud and say, hey, look, we're not over that hump yet. I think no, he's done. I was actually talking about Mike. He was kind of questioning why he got an extension. And I think it's because I think Nebraska is able to step back and admit and kind of not admit, but acknowledge. How about that? I think acknowledge is the better way to put it. Acknowledge what he's done there at Nebraska. They were in a very bad place before him. Scott Frost got there from UCF, and I really thought that was going to work. I had a lot of high hopes for Scott Frost there. It just, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out, unfortunately, and it sucks, but it is what it is. You have to acknowledge. You have to look in the mirror and say, hey, we made the wrong hire. It just didn't work out. Let's reset this thing. And he's come in there and he's rebuilt this. I mean, Nebraska's 6-2 right now. They got some preseason hype. I mean, he has built this thing back up, and this is year 3 now, I believe. Almost positive this is year 3 there. So, let's do a little schedule dive. In 2023, his first season, they went 1, 2, 3, 4. They went 5-7. Not great, okay? First year, new team. You're not at what used to be a prominent college program. Absolutely, it just isn't anymore. Last year they went 6-6, right? Yeah, 7-6, maybe. Yes, 7-6. Unfortunately, that was 4 losses in a row right there to end the season almost, and that stinks. I mean, you were 5-1, so a lot of hype, and then you kind of ran into a gauntlet of a stretch. You ran into last season Indiana, Ohio State, UCLA, USC. You beat Wisconsin, then you lost to Iowa. So you lost 5 out of your last 6, and then you won the bowl game. So, you go 5-7, 7-6, and then now this season you're 6-2. And look, I don't think they'll win this weekend, but regardless, it's a step up, man. I mean, you've got USC. Next weekend, you've got UCLA, who, look, they're playing a little bit better with their interim coach. I think the hype is kind of worn off, and not in a bad way. I don't think UCLA is going to fall off a cliff. I just don't think they're that good. I think they beat a really, overrated Penn State team this year, but whatever. I think they lose this weekend, beat UCLA. They play at Penn State. They play Penn State on the road in 2 weeks. They're coming off a bye, actually, on that game. So that'll be nice. That'll be huge. And who knows what's going to happen? You could absolutely win that game, and then you're at home against Iowa. That could be a loss. I could easily see Nebraska finish the season 8-4, 9-3. Go to a probably not a New Year's Six bowl, no, but a so prominent bowl game. I mean, that's a step. That's the thing is he's at this point steadily improving. So first season 5-7, 7-6. Now 8-4, 9-3, maybe 10 wins if you include the bowl game. If they go 9-3 and then win the bowl game, I don't know. Who knows? It's possible, man. But all that to say, this was supposed to be a headliner matchup to start the season. It's not. It's still a pretty good matchup though. I'm intrigued by it, but I think USC wins that game. Yeah, it kind of is what it is. I don't want to go off the rails too much on this episode, so I don't want to deep dive on all these games. But who knows? It's not that's the thing. It's not a headliner weekend. Yeah, I think the headliner game is probably Vandy, Texas. If I had to guess, yeah, probably Vandy, Texas. It's in Texas. Texas had a huge comeback win against Mississippi State last week, and Vandy's top 10. I mean, Vandy's number 9 in the country. They're 7-1. They just got a big win against Missouri last weekend. The dogfight at home. And we'll see. Who knows? If Texas, they're playing with their back against the wall. I don't think Arch Manning is playing either, which really stinks. I completely forgot about that. That throws a wrench into it. But I don't think Arch Manning is playing. He's probably out. I think he got a concussion. And look, if it's Thursday and you haven't cleared protocol yet, you're probably not playing. And even if you are, you might not be 100%. But Texas got their back against the wall. If they lose one more game, I think they're out of the playoffs. They're 6-2 now. They're 3-1 in the SEC. They don't have a signature win yet either. I take that back. They beat Oklahoma. The problem for me is that Oklahoma is fading fast right now. They didn't beat. They lost to Texas 2 weeks ago. John Mateer was out for a couple weeks. He comes back for that Texas game. He just hasn't looked like himself after this surgery. And they looked pitiful against Texas. They lost 23-6, I think. And then they lost last week to Ole Miss at home. I think they lost like 34-26 or 34-28, something like that. And look, you got another ranked big-time matchup on the road this weekend against Tennessee. I mean, both teams are playing with their backs against the wall. So, Oklahoma's back against the wall. Texas, I got to go back to Texas. I went off on a tangent there. Texas has one signature win. It's Oklahoma. We'll see how that win looks at the end of the season. I don't think it's going to look as good as it did at the time. But, nevertheless, you still beat the number 6 ranked team in the country at the time. But aside from that, you've beaten Kentucky, Mississippi State, off of, last-second thriller. You lost to Ohio State, and then you beat 3 cupcakes in a row before you got to conference play. If you lose to Vandy this weekend, you've still got Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. Arkansas, I think you win. I do. I mean, it's at home. You should win that game, absolutely. But next week, you've got Georgia. You got Georgia looming. And then the last game of the season is at Texas A&M. Or no, at home against Texas A&M. But Texas A&M undefeated, top 5 team. That's... If you're Texas, you have to win this game. Because let's just... they got 3 ranked games left. Vandy, Georgia, Texas A&M. On paper, Vandy's your easiest ranked game left. Just gotta find a way, man. Find a way, Steve. Let's go, Sarkisian. Come on. Horns down. I don't care. I think Vandy finds a way. I think Texas may find a way to win this weekend. I don't think they make the playoffs still. I mean, I see 2 more losses on this schedule. Between Vandy, Georgia, and Texas A&M, I think they go 1-2 in those games. What that order is in terms of like win, loss, 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 win, loss, 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 win, I don't know. Loss, 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 win, win, win. I have no idea. I still think I think they lose 2 games though. But that's about it for college football. I think that's about it for this weekend. I think we're going probably about 35 minutes. I don't remember how long that first half of this recording was. It cut it off like stupid. But we got a good big weekend coming up. Busy weekend. I'll be back Monday. I am going to try to record Tuesday. We're going to try to get back to that Tuesday, Thursday schedule. We'll see. At least we're going to try to get back to the 2 uploads a week. And if not 2, 1 big update or 1 big upload. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm stuck at this thing, dude. But, love you guys. Pedro, the pizza challenge is coming. I don't know if you're still watching. You didn't comment on last night's video, and my feelings got hurt a lot. But, love you guys. See you next time.